Can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm here at Billingsgate. Used to be an old fish market apparently, but nothing fishy today. Today it's all about tech. And we've just had a massive presentation. You can see these vehicles, including a flying car in the back there. And we just had a presentation over here about XPeng. So what is XPeng? XPeng is the latest Chinese brand to enter the UK market aggressively. Their latest car has just gone on sale tonight actually. And I'll put up a separate video that's a presentation on that car. But in the meantime, in this particular one, they did a presentation. So if you're wondering, what is XPeng? What does it mean for the UK? What are their plans for what they're going to do here? What sort of vehicles are they producing? And why should you care? All of that is in this video.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Testing. We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Life. It's made up of unforgettable moments. Moments made up of adventures. And the next adventure is just around the corner. So keep on exploring. We are XPeng. We make intelligent electric vehicles. And our aim is to bring a new way of thinking to the automotive industry. To focus on people. To focus on intelligence and technology. And strive to continue breaking ground for the new era of mobility. XPeng is actively exploring international markets to build global innovation capabilities. We will promote the upgrading of the global traveling experience. Guide a smarter, sustainable way of traveling. We work with the belief that technology can transform the way people move. This is just the beginning. XPeng, intelligently moving your world.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was worth the waiting, wasn't it? A very warm welcome on behalf of XPeng Motors to the official launch of XPeng in the UK. We are here at historic grounds. This is Old Billingsgate. It was a former fish market, one of the biggest in the world. And now we transformed it into a center of mobility with smart mobility and smart and beautiful people like yourself. A new era of high technology has begun. And XPeng will always be in the forefront of technology. Because forget everything you know about technology, about batteries, about charging and its limitations. We have a great story to tell. And the man who can tell the story best is here today with us. He is our Vice Chairman and President, Dr. Brian Gu. Please join me on the stage.
Hello London, welcome to XPeng's launch in the UK. And also, it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce the XPeng story and our journey to date to all of you. And what a story it is. From day one, XPeng's vision is to be the explorer of future mobility. And our belief is clear and simple. We believe that technology and intelligence are the ultimate driving force that transforming mobility going forward. So as a young company, we actually has a company that was DNA that's unconventional according to automotive standards. Our founders actually come from non-automotive backgrounds such as internet, software, AI. Almost 40% of our staff is in the area of R&D, which is very unconventional compared to other OEMs. And more importantly is that more than half of these R&D are in the areas of software and AI. So that's why XPeng has been developing a deep technology stack that we want to develop future mobility solutions from the EVs you see today to flying cars as well as humanoid robots. Can go back. Okay. So we come from the largest EV market in the world, China. Last year, over 64% of the EV and plug-in hybrids are sold in the Chinese market. But at the same time, Chinese market is also the most competitive EV markets in the world. Just a few years ago, people said there are over a few hundred Chinese EV startup companies that raised money. And now today, less than 10% of these names are still exist. So in this fiercely and the most important market, XPeng has emerged to be a front runner. Just some numbers to share with you. Total cumulative delivery of battery electric vehicle, XPeng delivered over 620,000, ranking top 3 among pure play BEV companies in the world. Last month alone, we have delivered over 30,000 BEV products to our customers globally, which make us the #1 Chinese emerging brand business among all the automotive companies. And we are also the first Chinese company to complete a dual primary listing in both the US and in Hong Kong. And among the best brands in China, we also have the highest market value. But last but not least, we're also recognized to be a leader in sustainability. For 4 years in a row, we actually have been awarded the highest ESG rating in automotive industry among all automotive companies globally. But more than just numbers, to be a front runner, you also need to lead in major innovation and set the trend for future mobility transition, which we actually have done. Just to name a few here, we're the first Chinese company to introduce highway and city ADAS functions, and now a key feature to selling premium EVs in the Chinese market. We're also the first Chinese company to introduce 800-volt high-voltage silicon carbide platform, which allows our cars to be one of the most efficient in energy consumption, but also the fastest charging products in the market. In fact, every model that we have launched, from the flagship G9 SUV to the best-selling X9 MPV, as well as our latest P7 Plus, it all comes with the best-in-class technology of its era in its segment and sets a trend for the entire industry to follow. And thanks to our relentless focus on innovation, our smartification features is also at least 1 generation ahead of its peers in the industry. For example, the XNGP, which is a proprietary self-developed ADAS function, is now able to cover the entire Chinese cities, regardless of city, road conditions, and routes. And now, this year, we actually enable parking space to parking space navigation under this technology, the first in this industry. Our proprietary operating system, TNGOS, is a very intuitive, large language model-driven operating system that can recognize natural conversation using your voice command. It has the best-in-class surrounding virtual reality guidance system, and also the APP function allows you to remotely control your vehicles, including self-parking. Our OTA features, it's actually done probably the most frequent in the industry. It's hassle-free. At the same time, we actually also the first Chinese company to have beta tests from global customers that we collect feedback from and update in a regular fashion. So combining all these features, all these technology, we actually are putting that into one big platform, which we call SEPA 2.0. It will have the best powertrain technology, has high voltage, fast charging, more efficient. It has one of the smartest cabin, smart driving ADAS functions, but also it has smart manufacturing features. For example, we have integrated die-cast technology combined with cell-in battery design, allow you to have lighter, roomier, and stiffer bodies to ensure a safer ride. So the products you can see later today, which we're going to launch in the UK market, all come from this SEPA 2.0 platform. And our colleagues will give you a lot more details about these products. In fact, our leading innovations have led to the strategic collaboration between us and Volkswagen Group. The collaboration actually began 2 years ago, a little bit less than 2 years ago. First is for us to help Volkswagen Group to develop competitive battery electric SUV models for the Chinese market based on our G9 platform. And since then, our collaboration has expanded to include, electronic architecture collaborations. So going forward, all future Volkswagen EV products sold in the Chinese market will have our technology inside. This is actually the first in its kind in the industry where a Chinese OEM now are able to empower a global OEM to develop EV technology for the market. And I think it's gonna be, set the trend for many more of these similar collaborations to come. And looking forward, we feel like the industry is going to continue to innovate, and we are most excited about the promise that AI is going to have, and also the AI transformation is going to have on the mobility sector. And that's why we actually have been relentlessly develop AI capability as a company, because we want to make sure that we are continue to lead the development of technology, which we believe AI will be core to the future. And that's why we actually have now developed the basic infrastructures allow us to power future AI development, including our XPeng Turing chip for smart driving. It's actually a chip that we designed by ourselves, complete the tape out already, and will be included in our model rollout later this year. The chip will be more powerful than anything that's currently available in the marketplace. We also have our own large language model that we developed in-house that powers the development of autonomous driving technologies as well as smart cabin operating systems. And that large language model also is powered by our probably industry-leading computing power, more than 10 EFLOPS of computing power that we actually have developed in conjunction with our cloud partners in China. So these fundamental AI capabilities ensures that we will be leading the evolution of mobility into the new era, and also including the development of AI-powered EV, humanoid robots, as well as eVTOL flying car products. Now let's turn our attention to our global plan, and that's why we're here. As a young company, XPeng has always aspired to be a global company. Even when I joined the company about 7 years ago, when the company is only a few hundred people, the first thing I did is to go to the US and start our research labs in Silicon Valley, because we want to make sure we have the global input as well as focus on the global markets. In 2020, right after our US listing, we started our US global journey by building our first store in Norway. And last year, we now successfully launched our products in more than 30 countries. Our goal is to be, by the end of this year, to enter more than 60 countries in total. We want to be the #1 Chinese premium EV brand outside of China. I define premium EV to be EV priced over 40,000 euros per product. And in the long run, we hope that we can generate half of our global revenue from outside of China. And to achieve that goal, Europe and UK clearly will be the core focus. So to develop this market focus, we have a long-term plan and commitment. That includes building local offices, building local staff, hundreds of sales points in this region. That includes introducing more exciting pipeline products. We actually have many products that we have planned for the next 3 years to be launched in this region. That includes developing ADAS technology outside of China, starting from Europe. That also includes building brands, investing into training, services, as well as other infrastructure that is necessary for us to compete in this region. So our investments today has already yielded very good progress. We're very proud last year that we had achieved the status to be the #1 Chinese premium EV brand selling in Europe. We're also very proud to deliver our 10,000th EV product to our European customer just before Christmas last year. These are just numbers, but what I want to say is that we recognize the progress is the trust, the faith and belief our European customers have in our product and brand. And now we're turning our focus to UK, one of our most important and most strategic markets. We believe that our brand, our product, our technology will resonate very well with UK customers, particularly in conjunction and in partnership with International Motors Group. And here I would like to use a brief video to show you the journey we have done today in Europe and our success achieved so far. And later on I'll hand the mic to my friend William to tell you about our plans for the UK market. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It struck me that preparing for this evening's launch event is quite a lot different to other vehicles that I've been involved with launching. Normally I'm used to speaking to dealers and journalists, but this evening we've got a much wider audience. We've got people from the tech industry, we've got people from aviation, we've got financial services, banking, we've got government officials, MPs, Chinese embassy, we've got lots of different people, and I think it shows the kind of curiosity to find out more about XPeng and how we're going to take these products to market. But I was also conscious that because there's a lot of non-automotive in the room tonight, probably many of you might not know anything about International Motors or what we do, so I wanted to give you a very short introduction which explains partly how we got here tonight and how we have been working with XPeng and our plans for the future. So we actually started our business in 1976, and it was out of the ashes of Jensen Motor Company. It was founded by Bob Edmonston, you can see him in the picture here, and it was actually out of his redundancy money, which I'm not sure if it's true, but I actually heard it was just £6,000. Perhaps Andrew's here tonight, he could confirm that. And our business, what are we? Well, we're an importer and distributor selling motor vehicles in many markets, not just in the UK. But really, our specialism and expertise has been about bringing new brands to market across many markets across the world. So in that time, we've actually launched 37 new brands in different global markets. And when I look at the UK, what we've done in the UK, we've introduced 8 new brands to these markets. And incredibly, if you look at the history of International Motors, we've been responsible for launching over 290 models in markets all across the world. But I wanted to start a bit about our story on particularly some of the Asian brands that we've been working with. And many of you in the room will know that in the 70s and 80s, this is when the Japanese products first started to arrive. And our first brand was Subaru. Not long after that, the Koreans arrived. And I don't think many people are aware that it was actually International Motors that introduced Hyundai to the UK in 1981. So you can see that history there. Our owner had the foresight to think, well, what's potentially going to come next? Which markets are going to want to export cars to the UK? It was a bit of a long bet at the time, but he decided to invest in China. So in 1999, we set up our office in Beijing, which was principally set up to help the Chinese auto industry with type approval and homologation, bringing vehicles to the UK. And that's how we started many of our long-standing relationships. Our first Chinese brand that we launched was Great Wall Motors in 2012, but it's about today and the opportunity to stand here and launch XPeng in 2025 that we're really, really excited about. But now that we're here and we're about to launch the first product to the UK, what does the market look like for a new Chinese brand launching in the UK? Well, on the surface, it's actually really quite good. Last year in the UK, there were 382,000 EVs sold. That was more than any other European country. So that meant one in five vehicles that were sold in the UK was an electric vehicle. So on the face of it, that is quite good news and good for XPeng launching. But if you scratch beneath the surface a little and understand exactly how those numbers were achieved, there was unfortunately a big cost to the auto industry. That cost was £4.5 billion in incentives and discounts to help sell electric vehicles. Clearly for the auto industry, this is unsustainable to carry on with this trajectory. And this is why we have seen factory closures, we've seen redundancies, and unfortunately already this year we've seen further cost-saving measures. So I think the really big problem that we've got, and the whole of the industry is united on, is really the lack of retail demand. So for every 10 EVs that were sold in the UK, only one was to a retail customer. So of course, for a new EV brand launching in the UK, that's quite a challenging environment to be launching in. And we have to be really careful launching a premium EV brand at such an important time. And obviously with XPeng, we don't have any ICE vehicles, so we don't have the profit or income to offset against some of the losses from selling EV vehicles. And what we won't be doing, we won't be forced into selling EV vehicles to hit the ZEV targets. We're at 100% EV, so we've got no requirement to do that. Instead, we will be focusing on the natural, organic growth in the market. We know where the market's going, and for us it's really important to get some really solid foundations ready for that growth in the future. So we'll be prioritising things like residual values. We know residual values for electric vehicles is going to be really important, and also about brand integrity. Who are we as a brand, and how are we going to sell and promote our products into the future? But we're actually really confident and positive about the future. We obviously believe in EVs. We've got many EV brands within our portfolio now. And we're confident with the products that XPeng will be bringing to market and the new technologies they'll be introducing, that as we go on this transition from 25 to 2030 to hit this target, in the UK, XPeng will become the UK leader in ultra-smart electric vehicles. So there's a lot happening in the EV space. There's the legacy brands churning out lots of electric vehicles. We've obviously got new entrants. So why are we so positive that XPeng is going to be a success in the UK? What made us really want to work with XPeng? Well, there's a number of reasons, and obviously I'm going to not go into too much detail, but just touch on a few of them. The first is what Brian talked about earlier. And it's the fact that XPeng, a tech company that build cars, that's quite a bit different to traditional car companies. And I think it gives XPeng a really strong advantage for the future. I firmly believe that the best cars in the future, the most successful cars in the future, will be those companies that have the best hardware and software capability. I know we've got a lot of journalists in the room tonight, but I'd just be interested if any of the journalists have driven or experienced an autonomous car. I'd just be keen to see. Is there anybody in the room? Maybe one, two, couple of people. Well, I had my first experience of an autonomous car last year in China. And maybe I was quite nervous getting into a car that wasn't driven by a human. But I remember it quite clearly. We were in Guangzhou, just outside of XPeng's headquarters, and they said, right, what we're going to do, we're going to do a quick loop around. I'm going to switch it into autonomous mode and the car will take over. And we were on quite a busy highway. I think it was 3 lanes of forward-facing traffic. And then, to my amazement, the car started to move into the middle lane and indicate itself. So I said to her, you didn't do anything, did you? You didn't do the indicator or accelerate? And she said, no, the car did it all itself. So that was the first thing. The next thing, we came to a really busy junction and we were going around a corner and the car slowed down. And she said, did you notice the car had slowed down going? And I said, yeah, well, why did it do that? What was the reason? And she said, well, what you didn't see is to the side of the car, there were some electric scooters, and the car had worked out that could be a potential danger. So in advance of that, it had slowed down in anticipation. And at that stage, I was completely bought in, because I was just focusing on everything going on in front of me. And if you've ever been in China, driving around cities, it's quite hectic. So after that point, I was a big believer that there's definitely a future in autonomous cars. I felt more safe being in that car than had I been driven by a human. So good things to come. But it's not just about having a great technology story. There's a lot of car companies now that claim they're a technology company, but not like XPeng. XPeng are the original company for tech. And so it's really great to have things like flying cars to talk about. It's creating such a buzz media attention. Just it was in January, I think, XPeng were at the CES show where they demonstrated the Landcraft Carry that you saw in the previous slide. And actually that vehicle has already gone on sale in China with deliveries next year. I think they've taken about 3,000 vehicles. So although it seems something like science fiction and it's probably not going to come to the UK anytime soon, these types of things are happening, and it's generating loads of media coverage, loads of conversation about XPeng, and I think it really adds to the credibility of XPeng as one of the highest tech leaders in future mobility. So it's a great space to be in. But for us, International Motors, we are really aware just how important customer satisfaction is. And I think for some new brands coming to the UK, this has been maybe a weak spot, whether it's a lack of naivety, not really knowing about the UK market or what our customers expect, or maybe there's been a rush to the market. This is an area where International Motors and our experience really pays dividends. We've now been in the market for 50 years, launching many brands. And we've got the infrastructure. So we've got a parts warehouse in the middle of the country. We've got our import centre in the south of the country. We've got our systems. We've got our processes. We've got our know-how with all our staff and our knowledge. And we know exactly what our dealers want. We know what our customers want. And we know how to deliver on those expectations. So from day one, we will ensure that XPeng customers get the very best in customer service. And to support that, it's our aim that within 2025, we will appoint 20 to 25 XPeng dealers. Not only that, but we'll be supporting them with a number of after-sales dealers across the country. And we'll continue to grow our rollout of dealers as we expand the portfolio of XPeng products, so more to come. But most importantly, we've got our first dealers that will be opening in March. So as we draw a close to the first part of the evening, it's been all about XPeng and International Motors, experts in our fields, but joined in partnership to make a difference in the UK, to be innovators and challenging in the auto industry, and really accelerate for a new era of electric vehicles. Thank you very much.
Shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links. Or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.